Hello everyone and welcome to HVMP's live coverage of the Protoform Dash Series at Daytona. This is the first race in this series that actually counts for points. The race you saw last week was an exhibition race on the backstretch of this 2.5 mile facility. Tonight we will be racing 60 laps and there's two groups of racers here in this race. There's pro line drivers, and there's people who are actually racing for points. Those are going to be your drivers. You'll see them in a moment with green license layers and yellow license layers. Those are the guys running for points. So there's two different races being ran, one for the race win and one for the championship. It's bragging rights for these pro line drivers who are coming down to try to win this race, and it's for some people with rookie and veteran licenses. It's their only shot to make it or break it and hope to get that pro line license or hope to win the championship. But before we get you to the action, let's get a couple words in from our sponsors.
Nothing will ever sound the same without a Turtle Beach headset. Hear everything. Defeat everyone.
Back live now at the Daytona Speedway. Cars getting last couple of shakedowns here before, excuse me, as we're having technical difficulties. Let's see, while we get these issues sorted out, Brandon, you were a driver who practiced early on and just decided to pull out at the last minute. But knowing what you know from practice, what are we going to be able to see coming up in today's race?
Well, I think that there's going to be a lot of cars on the high side. especially throughout the race. Maybe towards the end it'll be double file, maybe towards the beginning it'll be double file. But for the most part, throughout the middle of the race, it's going to be single file up on the high side, because that's the dominant lane. The bottom line is really hard to handle. It's bumpy, and it's just harder to handle on the bottom. So a lot of people like to use the high line here, plus it's faster. So we should see a lot of cars up on the high side.
You know, Brandon, I really have to agree with what you're saying here. Yesterday in the Dash Series, or in the dual race, excuse me, we saw, you know, we really saw that high line be the dominant line, and down low, especially in turns 1 and 2, you have a couple of bumps down there, which make it hard to make it through there. We saw a lot of guys struggling and slip sliding on the bottom just to make it out of corners number 1 and 2, and then in 3 and 4, there's a lot of bumps. But we saw some people, we saw Ryan Williams be able to use the bottom line to his advantage that race, and he is actually in today's race. So it'll be interesting to see what the different different chassis type and different physics, to see if he'll be able to repeat his dominance. As Ryan Williams not on track right now. Let's give you guys a look at the cars that will be competing tonight's race before they go 60 laps here at Daytona. We got Dudley Smith in that main and tail car. I believe that's a throwback scheme to Derek Cope, if I'm not mistaken. Dan McKay up there in the catch fence. Supporting a good message there. Kids Race Against Drugs, sponsored by Kmart. Free Jeremy, I'm not sure what that's about, but Dan McKay definitely stuck up here in the catch fence for sure. Kyle Riley in that waste management machine, we saw him show a little bit of dominance on the backstretch. As what were you gonna say?
Dan McKay's car is a Jeremy Mayfield retro. That's why it says Free Jeremy.
I see a little bit of conflict of interest, but nonetheless, that's Dan McKay for you. He's just one big conflict of interest. But one guy who, him and his army are really a conflict of interest to the rest of the field. These guys are really dominant, really tough to beat. Chad Michaels there in the 25. Look for him and his brigade of several cars. Try to get Chad up front. Try to keep him there. Andrew Schwartz there in the discount tire machine. The 67, and it's a Dodge. Mark Sabetka with engine issues on that machine. Unsponsored mostly, except for the back. You'll see Neff, and I believe that's KMC there on the back. Hopefully he can get those engine issues sorted out before the race. There's Dan up in the wall, or up in the catch fence again. There's Conti in the 85 and a Dodge. Seen a lot of Dodges out in this field today. Keith Sherman behind the smoking car. The 81 of, let's get it right, actually, it is Paul Foddy this race. These guys are getting the call to get on grid. Drivers, and to your cars. Get strapped in and whatnot. We'll take you through the field. In first position is the 53 of Brandon Lambert. Brandon Lambert, a Proline driver, making a rare appearance in the Dash Series. Outside of him is the 22 of Dylan Smith. Not sure who's next to the 99 of Cody Erdman.
Chris Wetz.
Chris Wetz in that terribly ugly 71 machine. I mean, it just looks terrible. There's no other way to describe it. And then we got the... Well, that's a good question. A lot of these paint schemes are brand new. This this series making a switch over from the new Nationwide mod from DMR over to the old school GNS mod made by, I believe that was Project Wildfire. As they're getting the command to start those engines and turn them over, get ready to go 60 laps here. We'll bring you back through the rest of the field. That's the 60 of Alex Gordon in the singular machine. I don't even think they're a company anymore, but he's got them on his car, and then next to him is the 62 of Kyle Riley. On the inside will be the 25 of Talladega Mycos. Hopefully, might be able to change his name over to Daytona Mycos if he can win this race. I don't know. And outside of him, fan favorite in the 15, Keith Sherman. The Cellular One car. I don't even think they're a company either, but a lot of these drivers supporting some throwback schemes in the field. Definitely really cool to see them do that as we continue our way through the field. That's the 86 of Timmy Pacioli on the outside of row, I forget what row we're in, 5, 6, something like that. Next to him in the 77 on the inside line, that's Jay Stubbs, Jeremy Stubbs, I believe, is his first name. Don't quote me on that. Then we got the 8 of Jordan Highland on the inside with the 21 of Jake Pullen on the outside. That's the 82 of Alex Bates outside. Inside is Matt Conti, outside Spencer Gilmore. 52 of Steve Rod in that Goodwrench machine, and outside of him is the 90 of Mason Wellborn. Inside in the number 80 machine, it's not Caleb Paul this race, it's Nick Cars. Running a Caleb Paul machine, though. 14 of Dan McKay in that Kids Against Drugs car. And the 84, outside him, is Jake Fisher. On the inside, Ryan Williams. Tough break for him yesterday in the Proline Series dual race, but look for him to be strong, as he always is. As we're leading him down, the rest of those cars are on Gilligan's Isle. Let's work our way slowly back up to the field here. Brandon Lambert on the outside, bringing him to the green. Green flag is in the air. Both lines. Side by side. I agree, both lines side by side on their way down into turn number 1. As these guys take about 2-3 corners to get fully up to speed, they'll probably be fully cranked up on the end of the back straightaway. Oh, as we already got a crash in the back.
Huge wreck.
Huge wreck in the back. Not sure who's involved.
Spencer Gilmore's in it.
Oh, as we get another wreck. I believe that's going to be a restart. Oh, as Cody Erdman hard in the outside wall gets tagged by that ugly machine of Chris Wetz.
Yeah.
And that one's a restart for sure. We saw a lot of cars get up. Let's see if we can get a quick replay in here before we have to reset. I believe the wreck was somewhere around here with Jay Stubbs. Oh, as we just went for a replay and our server got reset.
Drivers, to your car.
That's alright. Driver's quick to get back on the grid here. We'll take you back through the rest of the field here. I believe we left off with around the 84 of Jake Fisher. He's on the outside. Inside of him, Dan McKay. Behind him, Ryan Williams. The outside of him, Mark Sabetka. And the Derek Cope looking machine, that's the 50 of Dudley Smith. Outside of him is the 81 of Paul Foddy, and rounding out the field will be the 67 of Andrew Schwartz. And let's see, Jeffrey Stanton making a late appearance to the grid there. Don't forget about him, never counting Jeffrey out. As the car outside of him waiting to get on track. If he does it all. If not, that inside line will move back up. We saw an interesting move by the 53 of Brandon Lambert. Brandon, you know, do you think that high line is the way to go right on the start, or do you think you should try to motor your way down the backstretch and then find someone to push you in front?
I think I would stay on the high side just for the beginning, because we saw Chris Sweats on the bottom, and he's like P3, I think. And he was right down there on the bottom, and he was having issues. I can tell you that. He was swerving up and down. He could not hold that bottom line. It's a tough line to handle. So I'd stay on the high side for the beginning.
There you see Brandon Lambert quickly to the high side, bringing him down at a slow 71 miles an hour, trailing that pace car. And while we have a little bit of downtime, tomorrow night will be the Daytona 500k broadcasted live on Chev TV. Make sure to catch that broadcast. Always a fun race here at Solstice. Definitely interesting to see all the different strategies. I know a couple seasons ago, one of the races I ran there, they had 80 green flag laps. Talk about an endurance run for people who aren't used to maybe running that many laps in a race at all. So it's definitely a battle of attrition in the 500s. That'll be an interesting one to watch. That'll be on Chev TV. Make sure to check it out. Now, Brandon, we saw these guys wreck early here on lap 1. What are these guys going to have to do to just get in a line or a couple of lines and ride?
Well, it's going to be hard on the start. You just got to ride it and try not to wreck.
So Chris Wett's down there on the apron, not sure what he's doing. He might be letting the field by or something like that. But bringing him down is the 53 of Brandon Lambert. Green flag in the air once again on a restart for this race. Highline with a clear advantage this time. Brandon Lambert going to be able to work both of those lines, top and bottom, with that advantage there. But the 22 coming back strong. He's got Alex Gordon behind him in that singular orange and black machine. Going to try to push him down the back straightaway, but there's 3 good cars hooked up on the high side. That's the 53, the 99, and the 62. Those guys all know how to get it done here at Super Speedways.
This inside line coming out of the corners is amazing.
And that's the opposite of what we see at most tracks. Most tracks we see the high line, especially in real life away from the sims, we see the high line just motor their way down the straightaways and get a clear advantage. But we definitely saw the 22 and that crew down there on the bottom be able to pull these guys down the back straightaway. And actually, it looks like the bottom line might be a good lane to be in.
Oh, car shuffling. It's the target car back there. Timmy Pacioli.
But up in the front, we're still side by side for the lead here on lap number 2 of 75. Thought we were only going 60 laps, but apparently we're going 75 laps. It just shows you how much I know.
I thing.
And cars are all over the place in the back here. Cars swapping high, low. Back here in the pack, I saw Paul Foddy make a move from the bottom to top to the bottom. Watch for things to spice up there.
Getting ready to say there was 4 cars getting up on the inside, but now it's evening back out.
As back up at the front here, new leader, guy trying to challenge for the lead here. That's the 60 of Alex Gordon. Got some experience in Solstice last night during that dash race. He's going to bring him down, and he's going to lead lap number 3 here at Daytona. You see, Brandon, that's really crucial for Alex Gordon and some of these other guys to lead laps, because bonus points are awarded for leading 1 lap and the most laps. So Alex Gordon going to try to keep his machine out front. I believe he said before the race that he's going to be here to stay. He enjoys racing with these guys, and he's going to look forward to a great season here in the Dash Series. Wishing him the best of luck as he's leading this race right now.
I do think that veterans and rookies are the ones that are going for points, aren't they? So
that'll be correct.
If Alex Gordon is out here leading laps, he's going for this points.
And you'll be able to tell those drivers by them either having green or yellow banners and green and yellow spoilers compared to the blue Proline drivers, which, looking up here at the front, that 22 is a Proline driver. Actually, we got quite a few Proline drivers up in the front here. Alex Gordon, kind of the Lone Ranger, hanging out up front, trying to show what he's got against these Proline regulars. Ooh, his car is dipping down onto the apron coming off of turn 4 in the back there. Side by side again at the line. It's going to be the 60 by 1/100th of a second. And even though these guys are riding single file right now, these guys really are mixing it up. You can see it back in the pack. I mean, you see Paul Foddy trying to make a move low on the 85. You see Jake Fisher in the 84. I believe he might be dropping back.
Yep, dropping to the apron. Oh, there goes. Car in the grass at Paul Foddy.
Paul Foddy in the grass. He's going to be able to save it. And tough break for him. He's going to have to let the field by, and he's going to be all alone back there without any draft. It's quite a bit slower. We'll keep you updated on the lap times there. He was running in the 12th position. He's going to drop all the way back down to the 25th position, so tough break for him. But back out front, we see the high line dying a little bit. Low line showing some dominance. Cars wanting in to that lower line. Oh, as Alex Gordon is going to go to the back. Maybe things are getting a little too antsy up front, but for sure things antsy in the back. There's no safe place on this racetrack right now, Brandon.
Yep.
As new leader coming out of turn number 4, it's the 25 of Chad Michaels with his teammate behind him. That's the 8 of Jordan Highland. To put the 25 to P1. As this front little pack is just starting to get its own little rotation. We'll see one driver lead a couple of laps as we're going 3 wide. Cody Erdman in the sucker hole.
Right in the middle. Hold it.
And Brandon, when these guys are coming out of the corner and all the weight unloads from the suspension, how tough is it to keep it in a straight line?
It is very hard. It's these wheels, like, I was talking to some of the other drivers. These wheels aren't, like, normal. You have to keep them straight and turn them just a little bit. It's not like you just turn full left. You want to keep them straight for the most part. The car kind of turns itself, which is the weird thing about this setup.
I believe that it's a chassis 0 race, if I'm not mistaken. It's the same package we had for the Dash race last season. Last season, not the cleanest race, but so far we've been able to run 9 clean laps here after we had that mishap in the first stint before the restart. But nonetheless, the man proving that he can get it done. Chad Michaels out front in the 25. He's got 2 of his teammates behind him. But we got our camera focused here on the 53 of Brandon Lambert. Look for him to take no excuses, no... I mean, he doesn't mess around. If Brandon Lambert wants to get to the front, he'll move you out of the way. And might be tough with a wall of BER drivers in front of him, but look for him to get it done when the time's right.
It's really strange how the inside line is really working out here, because we saw in the duels, the outside line was definitely the preferred lane, so it's strange seeing these guys all at the bottom and working it too, especially with this bumpy track.
As Cody Erdman up to the high side, he's going to lose a little bit of ground, dropping from the 2nd position. He's probably going to drop back about 7th or 8th, and it's actually kind of funny how similar this is to real life. I mean, if you contrast this, you always want to get the most realistic thing possible when you're an admin and you're putting on these sim races, but I don't think this was intentional at all, that the bottom line would be so dominant this race compared to the Pro Line Cup Series.
Coming up to lap Nick Cars, who's a little bit slower than the rest of the field.
Lemon had lost the drop several laps ago, running the number 80. Normally ran by Caleb Paul, but Caleb Paul, unfortunately due to personal issues, well, not really issues, but personal events in his life, not able to run tonight's race, as we're seeing a lot of side-to-side warp with that 80. Ooh, look for him. Ooh, he's up in the wall.
Warping.
Oh, field creeping by him. Scary moment there on the 80 machine. Everyone else kind of reacting to that side-to-side warp. You saw guys not even want to get near him. But Nick Carr is dropping to the back of the pack. Hopefully he can hold on to the draft. Prevent himself from going another lap down. I believe he's the first driver he's 2 laps down. You see the ticker scroll across the top of the screen. Paul Foddy has lost the draft due to that earlier incident. We saw him drop back 20 seconds so far. Updated time at the line. It's not going to update until he passes the line, but definitely a long way back. Another driver who's lost the draft is the 77 of Jay Stubbs. So, tough break for both of those drivers.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened to the 77. I think he was actually slowing down for Paul when Paul got loose and went in the grass.
And it really shows you how important this draft is. We're seeing these guys up in the... Ooh, as Dylan Smith gets sideways up into the outside wall. And he's going to have to let the field by. Not sure if a little contact was involved, but for sure he started the race in the 2nd position. He's going to drop himself all the way back to the 23rd position. He's going to have to climb his way back up as the race continues on. And we're seeing this Highline trying to reform. Brandon Lambert being a pioneer of the Highline as we see a car bounce off the wall in the back. But now 4 cars up in the high side against the 2 cars with the 25 and the 8. I think these guys back behind him are finally realizing that that 8 and the 25 aren't going anywhere, and if they want them to go back in the pack, they're going to have to do something about it. So taking the initiative to get past the, or try to get past the 8 and the 25. They're doing a good job of it, but Chad still leads at the end of lap 14 and lap 15. And I think those couple drivers getting back up into the Highline is really what that Highline needed. It really rejuvenated a lot of those drivers. Oh, terrible warp on someone. Oh!
Oh, and he's going to touch Dan. Dan save it, or...
99 of Cody Erdman with a lot of side-to-side warp, still fighting it. Let's check on Dan McKay. Dan McKay has lost the draft. Let's get you a replay of that really fast. So coming off the back straightaway, Dan drops to the bottom, comes back up. I don't think Cody Erdman knew he was coming back up, but Dan with a nice save. His assist maybe assisting him in saving that machine. We'll bring you back live.
And Cody is dropping to the back now on the apron.
That's Dan McKay. Dan McKay cycles back 10 seconds behind these leaders after that contact. 99 of Cody Erdman, you see him back at the tail end of the field. But up front, it's the 25 with Chad Mikos being able to hold off that high line. We drivers behind the 8 kind of suck it back up to him, giving that low line what it needs to contend with that high line and block that high line's run into the lead. Chad, one of those drivers, he doesn't care. He just wants to be out front all the time and lead as many laps as he can. He's loving it right now up front. So as we make our way around, Brandon, if you're a driver now, are you concerned about pit stops coming up in the near future?
I think so. Pit stops are going to happen shortly, if I'm not mistaken. We're coming up. I'm not sure how many laps until, but it's going to get really close now. Maybe spread out the pack a little bit. People are going to be pitting at different times. And it's just going to be a little crazy coming on pit road. As we saw in the dual race, we had a little incident on pit road which brought out the caution.
As the 86 with an aggressive move up to the high side, that's Timmy Pacioli in that target machine. And he's coming with a head of steam to try to challenge that for that top spot against Chad Mikos. Oh, his car sideways off the corner. That's the 53 of Brandon Lambert. Nice save. Nice awareness by the 61 of Jeffrey Stanton.
Yeah, Jeffrey almost lost it.
Jeffrey Stanton, a racer in real life, I'm sure he's used to making some of those quick moves in his legend car. Good to see them avoid calamity coming off corner number 4. Down the Daytona super stretch into turn number 3. Chad Michaels still holding on to the lead by quite a huge margin as we're seeing the high line kind of start to die. These guys might be working their way down into that inside line, thinking about pit stops.
Yep, just gonna single file out, maybe log some laps.
We've had the 71 of Chris Wetz retire from the race. We'll put him back to P26. You should see our ticker update here in a moment. Nick Carr is back there in the back of the pack with a little bit of side-to-side warp. New leader on that high side. It's the number 90 of Mason Wellborn in that Budweiser machine. Kind of reminds you a little bit of Dale Earnhardt Jr. from back in the glory days of that 8 machine as he drops down low to the bottom behind the 62 of Kyle Riley. Now back up to the high side in the middle, kind of working both of those lanes, but that lane on the bottom is going to close up.
He's not going to have a hole to fall into now.
So stuck up on the high side is the number 90 of Mason Wellborn. Behind him is the number 86 of Timmy Paciuli. Can those two lead this outside line to get around Chad Michaels? Well, we're getting close to green flag pit stops. My nose!
Oh, there it goes. Spencer Gilmore around.
As I just jinxed us. Spin me right round, baby, right round like a record, baby. That's the 0-2. Doing quite a few 360s. Add them all up, and you got his total rotations there. But I don't know how to do math. I think I've proven myself on that one many broadcasts before. Let's get your replay of what happened, though. I can do that for sure. Probably train a monkey to do it, but... As we'll go on board with the number 02. Who just got into the back of the 84 there on the straightaway. He gets tagged by the 60 of Alex Gordon, and there he goes for a full spin cycle down in the infield. That's going to bring you your first caution of the day here on lap 21. Let's get you another replay from the 60 of Alex Gordon. See, he was just minding his business down the back straightaway on the bottom line, then all of a sudden hell breaks loose in front of him. Just nowhere to go, runs in the back of the 0-2. Tough break for all these cars.
It was a really good job on the rest of the field not wrecking, plowing into that. It does look like Jake just swerved down just a little bit right as soon as Spencer was going to bump him, and then just caught his bumper. Unfortunate day for them, but I think that they're going to get the damage repaired.
So back live now there on the number 60 machine of Alex Gordon on the roof. Tough break for him, but we'll bring you back to the front of the field here. That's Chad Michaels in the 25. He's going down on the inside line, signaling for his crew to get up on the wall. He's coming in for a pit stop. Two tires, 4 tires preferred here, Brandon?
Well, under caution, I would go with all 4s. I mean, if you're going for track position, maybe 2 or 0, but just personally, I would go with 4.
These drivers ease their way into their pit stalls. Try not to overshoot them. Chad Michaels' right side's going up. Oh, as the 62 overshot his box. Now he's at a bad angle. They're still going to pit the car, and what is Ryan Williams doing? He's going backwards down the pit lane here. Watch for a J-turn at the end of pit road. Hopefully he doesn't get a penalty for merging too early, but I think he is. Oh, as he backs it up right in front of the race leader. Scary moment for Chad Michaels there. I'm sure he's none too happy on the radio there, but 28 going to have to go to the rear of the field for merging too early, I believe. There you see him pulling it up to the high side. Not sure what he's doing. That was crazy. I've never seen that happen before. Let's get you a replay of that. That's some sort of pitting issue. And I believe this is reminiscent of what happened to Matt Kenseth. No, he got tagged by the 80. And no service being done on the 28. But throwing it in reverse and going down. Look for him to make another pit stop. We're back live now. There you see 28 of Ryan Williams still out front. Not sure if he got an end of longest line penalty on that one or not. But should be seeing him come down for pit stops for sure. The 50 of Dudley Smith, I think, getting a couple of extra bonus points. Being a veteran driver. Those extra points do count and are nice to have. A couple drivers following him down. This is the 14, 28, 98. And got a couple more drivers in the back there. That's Matt Conti, Keith Sherman, and the 82 of Alex Bates. There you see Ryan Williams getting service on his yellow machine.
Yep, most cars going with 4 tires here.
So Brandon, based off of what you saw in the opening laps here, do you want track position? I mean, we're not seeing the front of the pack rotate maybe as much as some of the guys in the back want.
Yeah, I thought that it would just be a single file, line, and people would get shuffled out, and people from the back could just, work their way up. But maybe since they're just running double file and not many positions are changing, it could be a track position race. Gaining those pits off pit road, or gaining those spots off pit road. Sorry. That could really help these guys.
So it all comes down to the driver nailing their pit entry, or pit box entry, and their pit box exit. Checking not to speed. So we're double file here. Chad Mico's the leader. And whenever we go double file, you know what that means. That means 1 to go at the stripe. Look for the green flag to wave this next time around. Chad Mico's definitely knows how to get it done. We're hearing the engine cut off there on the 25, maybe trying to save a little bit of fuel. It might be close. I believe they are gonna have to make one more pit stop. There's no way they can make 75 laps, or make it to lap 75, excuse me. He's got it back in gear here. Getting ready for the restart.
Green flag's gonna wave.
That's his teammate, his friend in the 52. On the outside as the green flag waves. And Chad Michaels is going to lead him down to lap 25 in the 25 machine of 75. And he's just gone from the rest of the field.
Rada and Chad are teammates, and one's a Pontiac, one's a Chevy.
So as they funnel off of corners number 1 and 2, Chad Michaels continues to lead. You see the 52 up there on the high side. You said he was his teammate, his buddy, something like that. And wow, did you see the yaw from the 62 there as he was entering the corner? As 62 trying to take the fight to the 25. At the line, it's going to be the 25 by 1/100th of a second.
Just barely.
Kyle Riley knows how to get it done here at Daytona. He won the NROC race here last month. Looking to repeat his success here on familiar turf as we get a car on the outside wall. It's the 02 of Spencer Gilmore. As he's dropping like a rock. Unfortunately, can't make too many adjustments to try to help the handling on that car. Otherwise, might not have to worry about that issue too much. As it is a fixed setup race today as Jake Pullen squeezes in front of the 62. And Chad Michaels up the block.
Is Jake still on a keyboard? Doesn't
Jake-
look like it.
Jake Pullen, I believe, has always ran a wheel.
Well, the past couple weeks he's been keyboard. Because I guess something's going on with this wheel or something.
Oh, interesting. He's really holding a smooth line here. And he's going to try to battle for the lead. If he's going to be silky smooth like that, this race is going to get good between the 25 and the 21.
And the 21's going to lead this lap. Maybe. Yep.
New leader breaking the streak of Chad Micos. He led for a good 15 laps, I'd say. He was up in the front for a really long time, but new leader, that high line, like you said, showing dominance here. But 86 and Timmy Pacioli with a lot of warp up on the high side. Not helping the draft situation at all.
And the outside line is prevailing.
There you see Chad getting a little bit desperate. He's trying to hug up to the outside line there on the straightaway, get a little bit of side draft. Chad really knows how to play this draft well. As you see him trying to gain his position back on the outside line and also hold off the number 90 of Mason Wellborn behind him. So down into corner number 1, it's a new leader. Jake Pullen to the front, followed by the 62 and the 86 of Kyle Riley and Timmy Pacioli, respectively.
Jake's going to drop to the bottom. And now Jake might fall.
Not sure if this is a planned strategy by Jake, but to the low side he goes. Hooking up with the 25 of Chad Micos on the bottom. As he could lose the lead, coming back around, it's going to be the 62, leading that lap by 0.02 of a second. So Jake Pullen, not the best of moves down there on the bottom line, but he's going to try to fight back anyways. What we were saying earlier is definitely proven to be true as Alex Gordon ducks out low. This front pack really not rotating a whole lot. We saw Chad Micos leading, and he's just now dropped back to the 3rd position. Second in line of that low line.
Looks like the inside line might be making a comeback.
It's Jake Pullen. We saw him lead the high line, the low line. Diverse with his driving and what lane he's in. Can get it done either way, but he's going to slide up the track, and Chad Micos is going to try to regain the lead there in the 25 machine. Rocketing down the Daytona super stretch, they're drag racing side by side down the straightaway. Cars swapping high, low behind them. A little bit of side draft being played by the 25 and the 21 off of each other to try to break the other's momentum and try to propel themselves past. But these guys are like glued together. These guys not able to get an advantage over the other, and at the line it's going to be Chad Micos with a little bit of an advantage. So put Chad Micos back to the lead.
That was a photo finish.
Just for a split second though, as they pretty much tied at the start-finish line. Working our way. We're working up close to the halfway point of the race. So drivers for sure going to have to make one more pit stop unless we see caution-filled race to the end, but I'm not predicting that in the near future, as I'd put my money on green flag laps to come here, as we're seeing these drivers play nice, playing a lot nicer than last season.
Yeah, actually, these guys are running extremely well for the Dash Series. Extremely good racing.
As the Dash Series filled with a little bit more unexperienced drivers. A couple drivers still... Ooh, it was terrible warp on the 86. I almost thought that was going to cause a wreck as they're moving around the lap car of Jay Stubbs there in the 77. And I lost my train of thought. But a train on the high side and the low side, trying to beat the other. A long line of cars. I'm seeing that low line kind of separate more than that high line is, but the low line, the shorter way around the track, has shown quite a bit of speed, hanging on against the high line that we thought was going to be so dominant, and actually was dominant a couple laps ago. But it's starting to die again.
I don't know. They're still up there. Still got a ton of cars up there. Maybe take back the lead, Jake.
They're leaning against each other. Jake pulling with some strong cars behind him. He's got the 62, the 86, the 22, the 53, and the 82 for help. Coming back down to the start-finish line, they're going to be racing against the 25. The 25 leads that lap, and he's got a bunch of strong cars behind him as well. The number 90 of Mason Wellborn, the 52, his teammate Steve Rada, his other teammate, excuse me, in the 8, and I believe Jeffrey Stanton, Big Evil driver, and Paul Foddy as well. So Big Evil on the low side. And Chad jumped ship from his teammates up to the high side. Made a smart move blocking his momentum. Oh, and he comes down and he blocks the number 90, Mason Wellborn. Chad trying to play both of those lines, and he's doing it well. He pretty much killed the high line there coming down the back straightaway. But now we see the number 90 try to jump out, and the 52 fakes him behind him and pulls in behind his teammate.
Yep, and now he's got his teammate behind him. Gonna help them on the bottom.
So besides the 62, put all the Big Evil cars in a row. Oh, as we get a car in the grass, that's the 81 of Paul Foddy again in the grass, reminiscent of what happened to him early in the race. And he's going to do the same exact thing, lose the draft. And he's going to have to fight all that position back. What a headache.
Whoa, shuffling. Cars shuffling all over the place up here.
That's back into the main pack.
But yeah, Paul reenacting his own wreck.
Indeed he is. His cars are getting a little bit more aggressive. Trying to get hooked up here. Definitely interesting racing being brought to you here live on HVMP, and we're glad to have you. Jeffrey Stanton makes a move to the low side. That's going to leave the number 90 out to dry pretty much. Next car is several car lengths behind, about 5 or 6 back to the 21. Look for the number 90 to drop like a rock.
Oh, cars around, wreck.
Wrecking in the back.
Looks like Mark Sabetka. Maybe a couple other cars. Yep, caution's out.
Mark Sabetka there. You see him, he has a flat tire. And the caution's out. We'll get you a replay of what happened.
I just saw smoke.
And it looks like here. Oh, 52. Ooh, not sure what happened there on the 52 machine, but he got sideways and bottled up everyone behind him.
I can't tell if he got a run or if there's a checkup.
I think the 53 tagged the 52. Let's go on board with the 53 for good measure here. Oh, just a checkup on the low line. Brandon Lambert not realizing it and causing calamity behind him. But most of the drivers able to drive away unscathed. I think it was the 85 that ran in the back of the 53, just a stack up. Classic stack up there. You see the 84 with damage. And 98 of Mark Sabetka. Tough break for him. So he had to come down under a close pit and get service. We'll get you one more replay of what happened. This time in slow motion. So there you see on the high side, that's the number 98. Mark Sabetka, calamity in front of him. And just nowhere to go. Rough break. Keith Sherman involved. Alex Gordon involved. 85 of Matt Conti. Relatively soft wreck there. Not too many hard hits being taken by anyone in particular.
Pits did happen while we were looking at replay. It was a close battle off between Chad and Kyle.
So a drag race off of pit road. And it looks like Kyle Riley.
If you're going based off the white line, Kyle got him. But if you're going off the yellow, which I do believe is what they're going off of, then Chad got him.
I believe it's the yellow line. So Chad Mycos in front, being able to make his way around the 62. A couple drivers not pitting. It's the number 67 of Andrew Schwartz, the 53 of Brandon Lambert, the number 60 of Alex Gordon, and the number 14 of Dan McKay. And the 77 of Jay Stubbs. All drivers being able to make their way through that wreck cleanly, and those guys are going to drop down, the exception of the 77 to pit road. 77 still one lap down, electing for a wave by. But he's going to get his lap back. I believe, yes, he's on the lead lap now. The only driver not on the lead lap is the 80 of Nick Cars, being shown now, coming down for service on his number 80 machine, sponsored by Fox Racing.
If Stubbs is getting the wave round, I think Nick might get the lucky dog, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
Not sure if that's the way it works or not, but for sure the 77 getting a wave by. And out front, it continues to be a 25 of Chad Mycos. But he's got no help anywhere near him. The closest car to him is the 52 of Steve Rada, and he's up in the high side, or up in the on the high side here for this restart. Cars are going double file here down the Daytona Super Stretch. Signifies the one to go. Chad Mycos saving fuel again. You see his car dip down. It usually signifies that he has the clutch depressed in that car. Just coasting it around to get a little bit more fuel saved. It really helps. You can save like 2 or 3 laps by doing that. I don't think he's going to be able to make it to the end, but he might be able to extend that last stint of his.
So here we are coming around to take the green. Chad is going to line up on the inside, Kyle on the outside. Brandon Lambert right there in 4th with Jake Pollen on the inside in 3rd. Coming around to take the green.
So they're going to lead him down at 70 miles an hour in the restart zone. Green flag back in the air. Oh, and driver's back in the pack. Spinning the tires. That was the 82 of Alex Bates. Spinning the tires. And big stack up behind him, but everyone able to get up off the corner cleanly. Or, I mean, out of the tri-oval cleanly. And now they're starting to spread into one single file line. On the high side, maybe the low side, they're just all scattered around in the back. They're scattered around up at the front. And that's a tough break for the 25 of Chad Mycos. The 21 and the 62 trying to get something done. But look at how fast the 25 and the 52 have hooked back up together.
Looks like the 28 going up to the high side.
So coming around for another lap. It's the 21 leading that lap. Again, it doesn't really matter for these two drivers up in the front, just for bragging rights, but actually our first, we have a rookie driver up here. It's the 52 of Steve Rada. I believe his main objective right now is to push his friend, his teammate, Chad Mycos to the win. Might be just riding around, you never know, but Definitely not running up the lap sled column there in the 52, but he's your first driver running for points. And then there's a couple more drivers running for points behind him. That's the 82, the 81, and the 60 of Alex Gordon. His car is fan out back in the pack. Coming into corner number 1.
And back to that double file racing we were seeing earlier.
You know, these guys getting in these two lines, these two distinct lines, just kind of riding right now. Even though it is one line against the other, you're really not racing the guy in front of you or behind you. It's really just a place to ride right now. As these cars are really getting sideways, really yawn out the back end a lot, and making it tough for any passing to be done. Oh, as we see the 86 go from the low side to the high side. It can be done, but you got to jump lanes, it looks like the 86 just did of Timmy Pacioli.
And usually when you do jump lanes, you might cut off a little bit of momentum. But your main objective here when you're usually in a line is to help your line get past the others.
As that's definitely the objective for the leaders at the on the high side and the low side. I know Ryan Williams, one of those guys who really doesn't want the 25 and the 52 to run away with the show, so he's going to pull right in behind the 62 and the 21, try to help their line. Dylan Smith up there as well. I know he's friends with the 62 and the 21. So look for that high side to prove dominant for the next couple of laps. Got a lot of good cars up there, a lot of good cars on the bottom though. But we're not seeing them as hooked up nose to tail as the low line is, but don't have to be as lined up as, ooh, 60 of Alex Gordon in the sucker hole.
Trying to get to that bottom.
But like I was saying, that bottom line really doesn't have to be hooked up together all that much to get the speed of the high line, just because it is a shorter way around. Possibly a little bit more grip down there, but definitely both lanes pretty equal. It just depends on who you have in it. If Brandon, if you're up front, who's the guy you're going to want to work with as these laps start winding down and you're trying to work your way up into the lead?
Well, Jake Paulin is really good, but I think I would rather be right behind that 25 Chad. He's really, really good at super speedways here at Daytona.
Oh, there's a lot of side-by-side warp there from the 21. Sorry, I had to cut you off there. That was almost a scary moment between the 21 and the 25. Calamity up at the front of the field. And
3 wide.
The pack reacting to it. Oh, we almost saw the 25 drop like a rock there through the middle, but luckily he got... Oh, as they're leaning off each other. It doesn't even matter if it's warp between the two. They're still touching each other.
Yeah, I think Jake's just trying to kill Chad's momentum when he goes down there and pinches him.
Cars disappeared there in the pack. Not
Chad's
sure who it was.
block.
But Chad with the block. Driver's getting antsy now. It's still really early in the race, but the 25 is going to get stuck on the high side.
Oh my goodness. 21
and 62 not going to have any of it. And they made their way right around the 25. So put the 25 back down to around P3 or P4. Oh, and car around in the back. That's the 53 of Brandon Lambert hard in the inside wall. And that was a single car incident. I don't believe that's going to bring out a caution.
Oh, Ryan Williams is the one that disappeared in the middle of the pack. He fell out of the server.
And there, that camera view kind of shows it all. Lost trying to find the 28 of Ryan Williams. Tough break for him. But back out front, it's the 21 versus the 52. This is the first time we've seen the 52 really charge for the lead. And, you know, it's kind of a shuffle from the guys who were working with each other. And you see it show right here. The 25 wants right around that 21. Oh, but that might cost him there. He's stuck out on the outside line. He's going 3 wide all by himself.
This is only going to play in Rada's favor.
As I'm not sure if it is, because that's his teammate dropping like a rock there on the outside line. 21 pulling on the outside. Oh, 21 in the wall.
He
This
doesn't
field's
fall back.
really starting to turn into 3 wide, close quarters racing here.
Very hard racing.
Oh, his car in the wall. That's the 21. Oh, and the 25 is going to get turned. Oh, 2 upside down. He's going to get turned around towards the inside. Oh, and the 21 is smoking. His day looks to be done in that machine. 2 cars proving to be strong early on out of this race at the moment. And there you see Jake Pullen's frustration. He's not even obeying pit road speed limits or anything like that. He's going to pull it down into his pit stall in a hope that they're going to pull the right sides up, and yes, they do. So service being done on the 21, but he's going to have engine damage for sure. He's probably going to have to shut it off so that crew can take a look under the hood. Let's take a breath. Let's look at the replay, shall we? There you see the 21. Up on the high side, he just gets up into the wall with Chad Michaels right on his tail. The 25 trying to get low because Jake Pullen was losing speed fast. Almost got wall glued there. Well, did get wall glued. And as the 25 was trying to make his way low, he gets clipped by the 02 of Spencer Gilmore. And Spencer Gilmore up hard into the 21. We'll get you another angle of that. From the roof of the O2 now. There you see just minding his own business. All of a sudden Chad comes down. And if I was going to place blame on anyone there, I hate to do it, but I think that was the 25 of Chad Michaels just getting a little bit too antsy there.
I agree. He was just trying to not lose position because Jake was a little bit slower. He was right in the wall. And Chad likes to be at the front. That's the kind of person he is. And he wasn't getting to the front, staying up on that high side. He was trying to get low and didn't realize Spencer was there. Spencer had the run, and Chad just came down on him.
And Chad, a true competitor there. You see him pulling up the right sides on that machine, getting his car serviced. Off of pit road, though. First off, it's going to be the 62 of Kyle Riley, followed by the 22 of Dylan Smith, 82 of Alex Bates, 52 of Steve Rada, and the 15 of Keith Sherman, rounding out your top 5 off of pit road. And drivers who did not pit are the 61 of Jeffrey Stanton, the 60 of Alex Gordon, the 81 of Paul Foddy, the number 99 of Cody Erdman, and the 8 and the 14. Both. Oh, as Dan's slow, not sure what Dan's doing. Now's not the time to troll, Dan. As things are getting a little antsy, I'm getting a little tense just broadcasting this race. Just watching it, so I hope you guys are enjoying it from the comfort of your own home.
I couldn't imagine being like 3 wide in this situation. Oh my goodness. My heart would just stop and I'd slam the brakes or something. There's no way I could do what these guys are doing.
I mean, these guys hanging it all out there. There you see the top group who did not pit that last time by, going down to get service. Pit road speed is 55 miles an hour, slowing themselves down. There you see actually a lot more cars going in another time, trying to get as much fuel as they can in the car. This could be their last set of pit stops, so they're trying to get all the fuel in the car that they can. You see a lot of drivers electing for fuel. We see the 52 electing for fuel only.
Now, they could try and clutch it and under caution here and see if they can coast it around to the end. Maybe not have to do another pit stop.
Definitely a lot of guys worried about this fuel situation. I mean, they're going to have to find some way to save it, because we're right on the verge of being able to make it, I believe. So, definitely be interesting to see who has enough for the end. Let's try to dial up, not sure who we have on our whisper list. Let's, give us 1 second to step back. We'll see who we can dial up. On whisper we have the 62 of Cody Urban. You got a copy? Or excuse me, the 99 of Cody Urban. You got a copy?
You got me?
Yeah, we got you. Are you gonna have enough fuel for the end there?
After doing calculations, we look that we're gonna have about enough, but we don't know yet.
What's gonna be your strategy to try to save as much fuel as you can?
Try to clutch it here under caution, but then just go for it. I'm not going for points. I'm just going for the win. So if I run out, I run out.
And if you are going for the win, do you think you're in a good position here as we go back green? Oh, trouble in the back! It's the 25 again around.
What was that? Sorry.
We apologize. We're gonna have to cut that interview, that in-race report, short as wrecking in the back going on. Let's take you through a replay here, see what happened. Tough break on the 25 machine there. I saw him get turned sideways. I believe some shenanigans going on. Oh, it looks like the 8 just spun the tires. And the 25 hard in the back of him. And car is being collected there. Let's get you a better angle of that wreck. But Chad's day not getting any better. He's been involved in the last 2 accidents here. Oh, it was a stack up on the high side and the low side. But when the 25 came back down hard into the 67, 8 hard into, I believe that was the 15 of Keith Sherman. I believe one driver to avoid calamity was the 80 of Nick Cars. We'll get you an onboard from him, see the calamity unfold from his point of view. So there we go now. Yeah, just a lot of shuffling going on and a lot of cars bouncing off each other, making that wreck a lot bigger than it should have, but nonetheless, we'll bring you back live now. You see Nick Cars getting service on his machine. I think with all these cautions, it's no, he's still 2 laps down. I think the recipient of the lucky dog will be the 28 of Ryan Williams, as Nick Cars trying to get into his pit stall right in front of the 90. Or something like that. My problems on the 80 machine. Still struggling to get that car service. There, finally the tires get picked up. As I almost forgot he was in the lead. It's the 62 of Kyle Riley. Leading the pack down there. Double file. 1 to go at the stripe. Making this a quickie yellow.
If he's leading, then he chose the outside line, didn't he?
Outside line being chosen for the 62 of Kyle Riley. And we've seen that high line kind of be the smarter line to be in when it comes down to these restarts, because you see the high line just get such a great advantage, and even if the high side isn't the lane you want to be in, you can still pull down in front of the guy on the inside line and be safe. So Kyle Riley's going to lead him down on the high lane.
Just for those who don't know, we go at in between the first and second lines in the restart box. So that's the 2 white lines that sit in the middle of the track.
You're correct, Brandon. The leader does have the choice of when he wants to go. If he doesn't go anywhere between that, as soon as he hits the second line, everyone's free to go. And they get let loose, and we'll see just that thing happen. Oh, and the 22 almost read the mind of the 62, but he spins the tires a little bit. That's going to allow the 62 to duck in front of him. Oh, hard in the wall is the 02.
Careful, saved it.
The 02 is going to save it down there on the apron. Try to bring it back up on to the racetrack as he's still having issues. We'll put the 02 back in the pack. Oh, right in front of the 21. But back out front, it is the 62 and the 22 working together with the 82 behind him. And then the 98 and the 99 battling hard off of corner number 4. Cody Erdman to the apron. And it's going to be Kyle Riley leading lap 55 of 75. We've officially hit the 20 to go mark in this race. And Brandon, we're seeing something that we haven't seen all race. We're seeing this top 8 or 9 cars, probably top 10 cars, pulling away from the rest of the field. And I mean, as soon as I say that, the back end of the field starts pulling up. But
yeah, I think because of the checkups from the 22 or something happened, and the pack just got a little spread out on the start. Maybe a little slower start than usual.
It'll be interesting to see how they can gather themselves back up. A lot of these guys, for them, it's go time here. They got to make something happen or forget about it. 20 laps to go. Seems like a long time on a super speedway, but I mean, we're seeing not a lot of passing getting done. The driver's definitely going to have to find some way to get up there quick. And with the pack being single file, that high line might be the lane to be in. If he can get a couple more cars, it might be able to challenge for the lead there. We're seeing 4 cars not being able to prove strong against the inside line. Inside line, safe line right now.
Yep, maybe somebody in the front will move up to the high side and people will follow, but as of right now, I don't think anybody's going up there.
We're seeing the death of the high line start. Now just down to 3 cars up on the high side. Dan McKay holding on to the draft, but just barely. And we have 2 drivers who have lost the draft of the main pack. That's the 21 of Jake Pullen. I think Jake has some engine damage on that machine. But nonetheless, his roof crumpled in really badly. That's not going to help the aero on that car. And probably down a cylinder. And our other driver that has lost the draft is the 02 who you see there, but he might be able to get hooked back up with the 80 of Nick Carr's, the lap car. Try to bring it back to the front. Bring it back to this guy. Number 62 of Kyle Riley. He leads yet another lap. Again, these lead laps are just for bragging rights. They're just bragging rights for a lot of these drivers. Our first driver running for points is the 82. You can tell that by the green license layers. They're mandatory here at Solstice Racing.
The only person in the field that doesn't have them is Mason Wellborn.
As to the low side now goes the 53 of Brandon Lambert. The field snakes their way in. Hard in the outside wall is the 52. Oh, 52, all sorts of sideways. Is he going to be able to save it? Yes, he is. No harm, no foul. But some bent sheet metal on the 52 as he pounded the outside wall. It just hooked dead right. We saw Steve Rada get in a couple more incidents last night as we got a car smoking. Oh, they're wrecking! Oh, car's upside down. It's the 61. I just saw the 61 go upside down. He's back on his wheels, though. And that's going to bring out a caution for sure. Dan McKay, the driver, the 61, made contact with, I believe. Wow, what a terrible wreck as we come off of quarter number 4. I'm going to lose my voice by the time this race is over with.
With the way that they're racing.
So here's the replay now. We see contact between the 50 and the 85 and the 14, and the 61 gets sent up hard into the 14. 14 and the 61 with a little bit of air time there. Tough break for them. We'll get you an onboard with that crazy ride that the 61 took there. Not the way he wanted to finish his race. As we're running out of time to get anything done, and any little setback, it's really going to cost you. Oh, and there you see just incredible contact, as Dan was actually the one who went flipping end over end. It's a borderline death roll, as we like to call it in the community. Let's take you on board with the 14 of Dan McKay. I'm sure he has words to say after that one, but Dan McKay on the high side minding his own business and gets tagged by the 50 and then upside down a couple times, and there he throttle stuck on the 14. But upside down he goes. Dan McKay limping his way back into the pit lane. Tough break for him. So we'll go back live now to Dan McKay. He's getting service there on the 14. We have another retirement. That is the 80 of Lemonhead of Nick Cars. But out front, it's the 62 of Kyle Riley. There you see the field, single file down the Daytona super stretch. Now, Brandon, we're starting to get into the closing laps of this race. You know, if you're one of these guys back in the pack, like, let's say Ryan Williams, what's going to be your strategy to get back up to the front, knowing it's going to be hard to pass?
Well, it is going to be hard. I'm not going to be surprised if Ryan doesn't make his way up there. What you're going to want to do is just sit tight, hold the bottom lane. People get shuffled out, just pass them. Trade lines, you know. But the most you can hope for is a wreck, and hope you make it through and get the win. But it's gonna be really hard to make it up, especially with the few amount of laps left, and with the way that they've been racing. It's gonna be harder to get up here.
Let's see if we can dial up our in-race reporter again. Cody Erdman, you got a copy?
10-4.
That's still living in the booth. We're seeing a lot of guys struggle on these restarts. How bad do the tires spin? How bad does your car get sideways on these restarts?
The tires are pretty good actually, so not many guys slip inside. On the starts, it gets a little. If you get the power down a little too much, it starts the back end slides around a bit. But other than that, it's pretty good.
Now we see you near your teammate in the 25, Jed Micah as well. An alliance between you two. I'm not sure if you guys are in the same team exactly with the division with Big Evil Racing, but definitely I'm sure you're planning to work with the 25. What's going to be your guys' strategy to get up to the front?
Right now we actually there's me, Chad, Alex, Paul, and Highland. So we got kind of our own little group work. We were trying to get that outside lane to work. It didn't work, so we're just going to try to manage to get way through the field in front of us. We got some strong cars ahead of us, so we'll see how many guys we can get around and maybe get the outside lane to work right then and see if we can get one of us five a win.
Now, how many cars do you reckon you need up on the high side to get anything done? And, you know, who do you want up there with you on the high side?
Our group, probably Lambert would be a good car to have up there, and I'd say about over half. you don't want over half the field, but who knows? The inside lane can check up a lot, which we were finding. So if we can get a good probably 10 cars at least, we should be halfway decent.
Alrighty, well, good luck on the restart, and hope to see you up towards the front. Sporting HVMP on the back. So thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
So back out front, it's the 62 of Kyle Riley on the outside, electing for the outside yet again. Bringing him down here to slow 69, 70 miles an hour. Once he hits that restart, the whole field's going to break loose here. Green flag in the air.
Kyle with a great start.
We're really seeing that guy who's controlling the field, controlling the restarts, be able to jump out and get a huge advantage. And, you know, do you think it's going to hurt some of these guys if they jump out too far in front?
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, if you're jumping around the track, it's gonna kill your momentum. If you're getting a run and you jump out, it's not gonna hurt you it's gonna hurt you quite a bit.
So the first 12 cars, single file in a line. There you see the 99. He's talking about that strategy, trying to get to the outside, but he's on the outside by himself, on the outside of his teammate. He's gonna have to duck back in.
Dylan Smith on the apron for a minute there.
Couple of cars getting down onto the apron, coming off of corner number 4. But the field like a snake going into turn number 1, all single file on the bottom side. Who's going to make a move up to the high side as we're closing in with 10 laps to go? Well, you have to stay tuned to find out here. As people starting to fan out on the back straightaway. That's the 98 of Mark Sabetka trying to get something done on the outside with the 82 and the 86.
I can tell these guys are getting really antsy. Dylan Smith, Mark Sabetka, Alex Bates, these guys are getting really antsy. They're trying to get their way up to the lead. They don't want to be running second, third. They don't want to be stuck there. They want to lead.
That guy getting stuck out there on the outside is going to be the 98 of Mark Sabetka. Cars dropping like rocks back down in the inside line. Almost like some sort of gravitational pull pulling them back down. So the 98 was slow in corners number 3 and 4 and kind of just killed the high line there. But you're right, these guys back in the pack know they're running out of time to get things done. And definitely starting to get aggressive trying to get up to the front.
Lambert has made his way up to 3rd. Chad up to 4th, who was having issues earlier. And Stubbs, who's running 5th, who was having a ton of issues earlier.
So it just shows you sometimes you have to be good, sometimes you have to be lucky, sometimes you need to be both. Chad Maiko's definitely proven that to be true, as he was involved in a couple of really bad wrecks. But he's worked his way back up into the 4th position, shaking off the demons off of his shoulders, trying to get this thing into victory lane. So we're on lap 67 to 75. Closing laps starting to begin here. And drivers getting aggressive and back in the pack.
Their main priority right now is getting to the front.
That's going to be 19 cars in this front pack. Next driver behind them is the 85, who's 10 seconds off the draft. The 02 has retired his machine, and the 21 is 1 lap down with engine troubles.
Jake actually fell on the server.
Oh, Jake has fallen out of the server. He's going now 2 laps down. So look for him to come back. If drivers do fall out of the server, they get all but 1 lap back, and there you see him. He's going to get lapped again. I'm sure this won't count as one of his laps. It won't count against him, but going to try to make his way back into the main pack, catch the draft if he can.
Now, I keep seeing Dylan Smith. He keeps trying to pass Kyle, but he has nobody to go with him. Like, as you can see, coming into that tri-oval, I mean, you can see him going down there trying to get below him, and Kyle's moving up just a tiny bit, but he just can't get around him. I mean, maybe him and Lambert can work the high side, but right now, Dylan Smith's just trying to get around him.
There's terrible warp on the 77, the 22, and the 60. Both teammates, they're trying to get something done as well. I believe the 22 and the 62 are working with each other. Brandon Lambert, not sure who he's working with. But I know both of these guys really strong on super speedways, as Alex Gordon has just had enough of this warping car, the 77. He's going to try to get around him. Oh, but that might cost him. He's going to fall back to the bumper of the 82. 82 going to try to pick him up. Maybe tandem on that outside and defy the odds. But not looking hopeful for the 60 there as he's hung out to dry.
6 laps to go.
And, I mean, it's getting down to crunch time here. I think if you're the 25, you might want to work with that 53. Even if you don't have him dialed up on your radio, maybe show him a couple of nice gestures. Try to peek your nose out to the outside to give him a hint like, hey, let's go. Let's get around these front two. And out front, it's deadlocked with the 62 and the 22. Because I saw some smoke back in the pack. Nothing happening because of that. All cars continuing to stay straight. Alex Gordon finally trying to duck in between his two teammates. Oh, as he's going to just try to bring it out on the outside again. 4 cars on the outside line now to the rest of the pack. The other 15 cars on the inside. As the high line's kind of dissolving here, they're running out of time. It's 5 laps to go here at Daytona. Who's going to make a move? Right now, single file as the 77 gets clipped by the rear bumper of the 25. Scary moment for them. Good awareness by the 77, but that's going to hang out the 86 to dry. 86 is going to drop like a rock.
And the 77 is the closest, the top one running for points right now.
So these top 4 cars are pro-line drivers.
Yep.
The man in 5th position is the 77 of Jay Stubbs, so we call him here on HVMP. And then the driver 2 cars behind him, the 86 machine, who's having a little bit of side-to-side warp again, is his closest competition in points. And behind him is the 8 of Jordan Highland. All these guys trying to beat each other.
We are coming around, only going to have a few left to go. Whoa, 77.
77 with a move on the apron. I don't think you can pass into the apron here at Daytona, signified by that double yellow line. And here we got a move to the outside. Oh, fakes him out. Oh, 53 squeezes back down low. Are they going to be able to make a move? I think they knew they weren't going to get anything done going into corner number 1. Not enough guys ducking out to go with them. But, I mean, if you're one of these guys back in the pack, hey, why not jump out to the high side, try to get something done, get a couple of positions. For a lot of these guys, it's going to come down to crunch time, and it's going to be make it or break it time. And we're starting to see that. We're starting to see the outside line form again back in the pack. That's the 82, 60, 90, 28, all in a line back there. Trying to get something done. 67 on the tail end of that, kind of feeding off both lanes of draft.
Coming around. We're going to take the white flag here.
So, 2 to go at the moment. Who's going to be able to make it done? That high line is really starting to come into play. They're inching their way around a couple of cars, but they're going to drop down low to get refreshed with a little bit of that draft from the low side, and they're going to try to bring their charge back to the front again. Can the high line make it with just over 2.5 miles left in this race? In the lead right now, it's the
there they go.
62 of Kyle Riley and the 53 and the 25 go to the outside with the 99 as help.
Now or never. Here we go.
Oh, 62 up the block.
3 wide.
53. Oh, 3 wide for the lead.
Here we go.
Dylan Smith proving strong on the low side. There's the 25 and the 20, or in the 53 trying to get it done on the outside. 53 trying to block. There's a wreck in the back. They're wrecking, but our race is going to be coming down to the finish here. It's going to be between the 22, the 53, the 25, the 77, and the 82. 82 tries to duck low on the 77. 22 still out front. Can the 25 and the 53 get hooked together coming off of corner number 4? Bottom lane starting to die. At the line, it's going to be Dylan Smith to win.
Dylan Smith, an amazing finish. Oh my goodness.
As I'm out of breath there.
Now that was good racing.
We thought it was going to be single file all the way to the end, but they kind of woke up behind the leaders and fanned out to go 3 wide. And let's take you back throughout that last lap. An exciting last lap for sure. Let's try to see exactly how the 22 did it and how the 22 avoided calamity. So here we see the 62 go up high to block. 53 reacting, almost wrecking the 22, but saving it, doing a nice job of driving. 77 and the 25 were battling side by side. Cal Riley started dropping like a rock as he got pinched up towards the outside wall. And then
wide.
The 60 just hooks hard right, and a couple of cars blowing over. Let's get your replay of what happened there to start off that chain reaction on the back straightaway on the final lap. There you see 60 just pull down low, and something must have broken on that 60 machine. He just hooked hard right. Not sure if that was intentional or if something happened there on the 60. But tough break for him.
The helicopter.
Let's get you another look here from the helicopter cam. Yeah, just a little bit of a hook there, and it sends all these cars upside down. That's the 90 upside down, the 99 upside down. Number 8 and number 50, both with hard hits. Tough break for both of those guys. But bringing it back. Now it's the 22 making his way down to the front straightaway to light him up here on the front. For all the fans, all the virtual fans. There you see Dylan Smith, your winner here for race 1 of the Protoform Dash Series at Daytona, the Daytona 300k, 75 laps in the books. And at the end of it, it was the 22 out front, and he's going to burn him down here on the front straightaway. Definitely happy to get that win. And definitely fought for it at the end. No shortage of rubber on the back tires of the 22. He's just burned them down. He's going to put his nose right up there in front of the Daytona sign and doing a couple more donuts for good measure. Part of your complete breakfast there. He's going to bring it down through the infield, headed to victory lane. Is the 22 as he ducks off, and that's definitely where you want to be going after the race. So congratulations to Dylan Smith there, as don't have any cameras back there. Gonna have to resort to the helicopter cam. There you see him, the Gatorade victory lane. Let's see if we have people to interview. No we don't. Let's see if we can bring
Dylan Smith's up
the
here.
99 of Cody Erdman down here. Definitely tough break for him being involved in that last wreck. And we got Cody Erdman in the booth. Cody, walk us through that last lap calamity on the back straightaway.
I was just riding. I saw Lambert and Chad slide up, and I'm like, okay, that's because we were kind of chatting on the radio, and when we wanted to get that all going, I saw him go up, so I slid up, and then all of a sudden I see Bates come in, and he dives into the corner. He slides up, bounces off me. I don't even know how I kept it off the wall. And then we were going, and just everyone started getting 3 wide, and then I saw it coming, like the wreck starting to form, kind of like the calm before the storm happened. And I had Dudley Smith behind me, and he started pushing me, and then all of a sudden, just the wreck happened. I had nowhere to go, and I got airborne. But I didn't go completely over, thank God. And once I landed, I was still pointed straight, and I got myself back together, and I got around Mason. I think I got 12 out of that. So good day, good practice for tomorrow. So it'll be interesting for tomorrow's race, and I hope we don't have that big of a wreck at the end.
And we saw you take a wild ride there for sure in the number 99 machine. Is there anyone you'd like to thank?
I'd like to thank Wares Racing Products, Doc 360, Trackside Hobbies, Hollywood Designs, HVMP for this awesome broadcast, and Bailing's Racing Products, and 5-Star, and then also I had my girlfriend watching tonight. So other than that, it was a good night, and hopefully we can get it done tomorrow night in the Doc 360 Chevy for the Pro Line race.
So definitely not the way Cody wants to end his race, but bringing it home in 12th. Relatively a strong day given what happened on the back straightaway. I believe that's going to be it for our post-race interviews. So let's see, Brandon, what can we take away for tomorrow's broadcast? I know different physics, different chassis setup, open setup for tomorrow's race, but what do you think we're going to see based on what we saw today?
Well, I think some more people are going to try the bottom line. I think that it's going to be a lot more double file. And there's going to be a lot of changes. Maybe some single file runs like we had a little bit tonight near the end just to conserve their cars. But it might be rowdy like we had it tonight. But, open setup, it's going to be cars spread out. It's going to be a lot of cars. And, yeah.
Alrighty, I pretty much concur with everything that was just said. I believe Brandon Lambert wants an interview. Let's try to drag him up in here. So before we leave, we'll get one last interview with Brandon Lambert. Possibly, if he can find his way up here. So Brandon Lambert, we saw a hard-fought battle to the end. Take us through that last lap.
That's probably one of the craziest last laps I've ever been a part of. Me and Chad were working there together at the end, and we decided to come into the white flag. We were going to go to the high line and just try something. And we did, and then I got, what was it, 62 or 67? I can't remember which one it was. And pulled up right in front of us. Made for a heck of a finish, or a heck of a turn one, actually. That was really, really crazy there.
That was definitely exciting before you guys even got even before you guys got to corners 3 and 4, where you're really starting to race. You guys started racing all the way back in corner number 1. Now we saw you get a little bit sideways and get in the 22 a little bit. What was going through your mind at that moment?
Don't wreck. That was about it. I never touched the brakes. I just kept it full throttle. If I was going to wreck, I was going to wreck good. I'm surprised we finished that race. This chassis zero is amazing. You can keep a car under control when it's out of control. And I was very happy I could keep it straight right there. And I thought we could have. I think that high line could have had a good shot at it if we didn't have that wreck on the backstretch. We had a few cars up there, and we were moving. And once you wreck and you get more cars on the low line than the high line, then you're pretty much done.
Is there anything you would have done differently, maybe to put you in a little bit better position for the win?
No, I did the best we could in our position right there. It's just when you're in third, there's no hope in doing it out of turn 4. You got to go for it. Coming to the white flag, this is where you have to go for it while you're in third. If I was in second, yeah, I would have kept it there until out of turn 4. But being in third, you can move early.
And we all, I can tell from experience, Lambert, not one of the guys who wants to back off when that white flag waves. Lambert, is there anyone you'd like to thank on that number 53 machine?
Just like Granger and all my guys back at the shop at Lambert Motorsports Technologies. We went out and bought this car, and it was a it was a Biffle car, a Greg Biffle car from 2005, and it turned out to be a really, really good super speedway car. We can get all the dents and dings banged out up before Talladega up there later in the season. But just gotta thank everybody for Solstice. This is too much fun. I'm loving it again.
And a fun and interesting finish for sure. Thanks for making it interesting, Lambert, and hope to see you on one of our future broadcasts.
Not a problem, man. Thank you.
So for everyone here at HVMP, we're finally signing off, finally putting this race in the books. It was a great race to commentate. Thanks, Brandon, for coming along with me. Thanks for the in-race reporting there, Cody. And for everyone here at HVMP, thanks again for watching, and make sure to stay tuned and support the guys who are getting the bills paid here at Solstice Racing. Thanks, everyone.
Nothing will ever sound the same without a Turtle Beach headset. Hear everything. Defeat everyone.